2024 has been a roller coaster year for movie franchise sequels. We have seen some gems like Deadpool and Wolverine, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Dune 2, and Inside Out 2, but we have also seen some diminishing returns like Gladiator 2, Venom the Last Dance, Joker 2, Mega Man 2, and Despicable Me 4. But we also have one more movie that is coming out right now that is a sequel, and that is Moana 2. And we also have one last movie that is about to come out in December, and that's Sonic 3. I can't wait to watch that. But since we're in November and not in December, I'm gonna talk about Moana 2 in this video, and I'm gonna see if Moana falls in the same category of diminishing returns or of a hidden gem, because since Moana 2 is a sequel, the prequel for this movie, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I did not watch Moana 1. I heard that movie is a great movie. I heard that movie is very good, it's very funny, it's very entertaining. So after watching Moana 2, that really made me to be motivated to watch Moana 1, because Moana 2, I'll be really honest with you guys, it wasn't bad. It wasn't extremely mid, but I left the theater feeling that, damn, nothing really happened apart from the key main plot point. And by me saying that, we have to actually go into and dive deep into the plot of Moana 2. But before I say the plot, let me tell you guys what I really liked about the movie. The first thing I liked about the movie is the art, because when Disney really wants to make good art and they want to actually draw good scenes and draw great illustrations, they really are in their bag for Moana 2, because a lot of the scenes in the movie, they look good because it's a 3D animated movie, and when you wear the 3D glasses, when you go inside the movie theaters and you not put the glasses on, I ain't gonna lie, some of the visuals look great, especially when they are in the ocean and when there's like a big storm that they have to fend off and they have to fight. So the art style in this movie is pretty good. And the other thing I like about the movie is Maui, and Maui is played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And The Rock, as an actor, he is not a very good actor in my honest opinion. A lot of his movies, he plays the same person in a lot of his own movies, but I love The Rock as a wrestler. The Rock as a wrestler is literally my second favorite wrestler, just under Stone Cold Steve Austin. And The Rock, he is peak as a wrestler. He is a 10 out of 10 wrestler, very entertaining, very charismatic, very funny, and just a great all-around worker as a wrestler. So I like when The Rock, he puts more character, he puts more enthusiasm, he puts more heart into some of his roles than some of his other roles, because Red One, in my honest opinion, was so ass that I did not even bother to review it. So since The Rock is playing Maui in this movie, Maui is funny in my honest opinion. I like Maui. He has aura in my opinion. Maui is a very funny character in this movie. Sure, he has some slow moments, but when he really has his comedy going for him and he starts to tell jokes, and particularly when he's looking at this pig and this chicken and he's like, you guys smell good, you guys remind me of bacon and eggs, man, I was laughing, I ain't gonna lie, and the movie theater was laughing as well. So Maui was a bright spot in this movie for me. But now let me get to the plot, and when I talk about the plot is where you start to see some of my negatives, but they're not really big negatives because the franchise of Moana is geared towards kids. So since this is more of a kids movie, if you're a child watching this movie, you will have a great time watching this movie. You will see great scenes watching this movie. You will have some laughs watching this movie, because children, they don't really overanalyze the plot as us adults, because we overanalyze the little nitpicks, you know what I mean? Kids, when they watch children like movies, they don't care about the plot, they just care to have a good time. So if you want to bring your kid to this movie, you're gonna have a good time. But if you're an adult, you're gonna start to see the plot for what it is, and it's not really a great plot, because the whole movie starts off following the events of the first movie, and we're starting to see that Moana, she had to go to this mystical island called Motu Fetu. And the reason why she needs to go to this mystical island is because when she goes there and she now touches that island, it can reconnect lost tribes and lost civilizations so that they can all come together as one, and they can now basically see each other again, because there is this big villain called Nalo, and Nalo, he is this big mystical entity that, since he dropped down, he gains power by separating civilizations, by separating people. So that's how he gets stronger. So since this is happening and he's actually getting closer and closer to where Moana is staying, Moana, she is tasked by her people. She's tasked by her family, and they are trusting her. They are literally hoping for her to save the day. And this scene I liked, where we see Moana and her little sister Simia, she didn't want Moana to leave, but Moana was reassuring Simia that it's okay, I will be okay, nothing will happen to me, I'm gonna always be there for you, I'm gonna always be with you even when I'm not physically with you. So that was a touching scene. I'll be completely honest with you, this movie had some touching scenes, I'll be dead ass. But we now eventually see that Moana, she has to get people to help her with this task. She can't go in the depths of the ocean alone, despite her having powers of controlling water and controlling the ocean and being one with the ocean. She needs support, she needs help, so she finds help with 3 people. The first person that she finds is Kele, and Kele, he is a gardener, he is a farmer, so she needs Kele, you know, to bring resources and foods. And the second person that she brings is Lato, and Lato, she is this craftswoman. She really knows how to make things and knows how to craft canoes that will be great to sail the seas. And the last person that she brings is a character named Money. And Money, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like him as a character because he was a dick rider. He was dick riding Maui so much. I mean, he was a fan. He looked up to Maui. Maui is a demigod in this world. Maui is someone that is revered for his heroic actions. And Maui is 3,000 years old, so he's basically folklore. He is fable. He is a legend to the people that live in this world. So I can't really fault Money for being a fan, but they made him such a dick rider in this movie that he kind of felt insufferable, in my honest opinion. At first, he wasn't too bad, but when he meets Maui, he now eventually gets annoying. But this unlikely band of people, they now set sail and they now start to go on their adventure to go to the island so that they can save the day. And on their way to that island, they now encounter this civilization, this tribe of coconut people. And at first, the coconut people were hostile. They now actually incapacitated the team, but they revealed to the team that they are not as hostile as we think. They actually really just want to go home. They really want to find home, and this storm caused by Nalo caused this coconut civilization to be separated from their own people, so they will help Moana and her crew to reach that island, because since they will help Moana, Moana will help them. So one of the coconut people now joins Moana's crew, and they now set sail to go to that island. And when this is going on, we now see another villain, and this is where kind of my negatives stem from, because right now as I'm talking, we are currently in the hour mark for this movie, and we still haven't seen the big bad of the movie, but we are not introduced to this woman named Matangi. And Matangi, she is a sympathetic villain, because even though she captured Maui, because Maui, he actually came to this island first, he did not want Moana to come, he didn't want any human to come because they could die. This type of mission is only for people who are strong, people who are immortal. So when he came, he gets captured by Matangi, and Matangi, she kind of likes Maui. She thinks that he's fine or he's cute, but she's a sympathetic villain because she actually doesn't want to be living in this place, but she's bound to this place, and the only way that she can leave this place is if the curse is lifted, and that curse will be lifted from Moana. So when Moana and the crew get into this big monster that it causes them to sink underwater, they now coincidentally reach this place where Matangi has held Maui captive, and Moana meets Matangi for the first time, and Matangi now tells Moana that yes, I did not choose to be here, but I am cursed to live here. I am bound to live here. If you reach that island and you actually save the day, this will actually remove the curse, and it can bring a possibility of me seeing you again later. So when we see that, we now also see that Maui is now reunited with Moana and the crew, and it was a great scene at first, but Maui warns Moana, you guys will die. You guys have a chance of dying. This crusade is not for humans. This crusade is for demigods like myself. But Moana, she is trying to believe in herself. She's saying, it's okay, I have the power of the ocean, but at this particular location, her powers don't work. She is disconnected from the ocean due to how strong Nelo's powers is. And when we see this, we start to see that all hope is lost. But despite all of these obstacles in Moana's way, she still goes forward, and they almost die because of it, because Moni, he actually almost dies when the creatures from the sea that were sent by Nelo to stop them from coming forward, that almost causes Moni to die. And I kind of really wanted someone to die so that it can add depth to the story, so that it can add more of a weight and more of a real emotional scene that we can actually remember. But I think they missed an opportunity by letting Moni survive. I think they should have let him die, or they should have let someone of the crew die, because all of the crew survive and they not keep on going forward into the storm. But then the storm caused by Nelo, he is not interested in Maui. He is only interested in the humans. So this causes Moana to create a distraction, and then Maui was originally supposed to lift the island and lift it up, but in order to do that, you need a human touching the ground of that island in the ocean. So they now stick to that plan, but instead of making Maui be the center of attention, they now make Moana and the humans be the distraction for Maui to, do that. But it actually didn't work, and I thought that Maui died by being electrocuted, and I think this is also a missed opportunity as well. I also think that they should have killed Maui, or if not kill Maui, they should have stripped him from his demigod powers to add some little difference or some little emotional scene that you can remember, because when Maui was stripped of his godlike abilities, literally seconds later, he regained those same abilities to save Moana from death, because since Maui was a distraction, he got electrocuted. It caused Moana to go in the ocean and to go and touch this island. But Moana too almost dies, and I don't think there's a missed opportunity because she's the main character of the movie, but we literally saw 3 bait and switches of deaths. We saw that with Moni, we saw that with Maui, and now we saw that with Moana. So I think out of all 3, I do believe at least one of them should have died in the movie to create an emotional scene that we can remember. I think I've already repeated myself 3 times saying that, but that's just how I feel by me overanalyzing this movie. So the movie eventually ends with the storm being lifted and being removed because Moana touched the island. And this is where my other criticism comes, and that was the lack of a real villain, the lack of a villain presence in this movie. Because sure, we see visions of Nelo, and when I saw Nelo, I thought he looked cool. He was massive. He was this big entity in the sky, literally causing civilizations to not see each other, causing civilizations to be separated. I thought we'd see him come and he'll fight Moana and Maui, and it will be this intense, great, big fight. but we didn't see that. And I also thought that Matangi would resurface at the end of the movie to come and fight Moana and Maui, but we also didn't see that as well, because the final fight of the movie just literally ends when the storm is gone, and now the civilizations that were separated are back together, and they're back as one. They're back seeing each other. So Moana and the crew, they return back to their home, and everything is back to normal. Everything is good. So I'm like, dang, what did I really watch this for? But when the movie really ends, we now see that Matangi is being scolded by Nalo because Nalo was mad at Matangi for helping the crew survive and helping the crew succeed. But then we now see the return of a villain from the first movie called Tamatoa, and he now returns and he wants to get revenge on Moana. So we'll have to probably see that in the next movie. But I do believe they should have had Matangi and Nalo fight Moana and Maui. I do think a 2 versus 2 fight would have been peak. I think that if they made Matangi fight Moana and Maui fight Nalo, and they just go at it, they just start to fight each other, and we now see the climax of that fight, I do think that was a missed opportunity as well. So my overall thoughts of this movie is a good family-friendly movie. If you have children, a little brother, a little sister, and you want to bring them to a movie so that they can have a good time, they can have a good laugh and a good experience, this movie is for you in that particular environment. But if you want to go to the movie theaters and watch a meaningful movie, and to watch a movie that has stakes, a movie that has high stakes and high risks and high rewards, and has compelling scenes, compelling character development, this movie isn't really that. This movie really felt like it was kind of mid. It was kind of flat. It wasn't trash per se. It wasn't really bad, but it just didn't really live up to the mark. And we're seeing the reviews of Moana 2, they're mostly kind of in the middle. We're mostly seeing 66%, 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb is good, but if you compare that to Moana 1, their reviews was 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. So we are seeing the visual and the realistic drop in the quality of this movie, and I do believe that is because this movie had no stakes. It had no high risk that you can literally feel you sweating in the movie. But that's what I thought about the movie. What did you guys think about the movie? I'm out. Peace.